What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Links and Lines podcast. Darian AG, and in this episode, we're back to talk about the importance of personal development in business. So, I think this one's cool because instead of talking about as much business strategy in this one, we're going to talk a little bit more on the soft skills and individual side of things. I think there's a huge personal journey that you're undertaking when you're going through entrepreneurship or like undertaking that, and there's a lot of things to keep in mind or things you might want to know for that journey. So I'm gonna let AG go ahead and give you his first one.
Developing a positive mindset won't only guide you through your business, but it'll guide you through life. I personally feel that learning how to navigate through adversity is a very important skill that anyone can attain. It just takes mental toughness. Adversity could be trouble in your industry, trouble at your job, in the sense of adjusting. Let's say in your case, you're a developer or you were a developer. I know you've leveled up, but you could be in competition with 5 other developers that all have a different style, but you guys are all there for the same purpose. Let's say you're doing some back end stuff, but you all are in competition. It's healthy competition, but you can't be. Maybe if you do got to cry or something, I feel you step away. But I'm saying you can't, like, you could get overwhelmed. But I'm just saying, like, you can't beat yourself up that this person has a different style than you when both of your styles are different, but you guys are still getting to the same point. So the adversity there is kind of being brought onto yourself, or the adversity of the color of your skin or your height or whatever. It could be something completely minuscule to you, but it's still adversity in your face. Or, we've had showcases and stuff like that where we were told it was only going to be 3 acts. We pulled up, it's 30 acts. You know what I'm saying? So we're like completely like, no, we're not doing this. But you got to be able to, in your mind, all right, this happened. How can we move on? Which also leads me to say each failure is a lesson. It's not that you failed. You failed because you tried something, versus just it being an idea. And I feel like personal development can really help you bridge and close that gap between idea and execution. When you have a positive mindset, you typically did some good soul searching, mental searching, knowing your do's and don'ts, and that all is a part of becoming like the right leader for your brand or CEO for your company or manager in your job or exec for your company. Those people that got there, some may have had some connections and got to just walk in, or money connections, but for the most part, a lot of those people in strong leadership roles have had personal development or continue to do it every day.
Yeah, I like that one a lot, and I would say from my personal experience, I'm sure y'all have heard the term imposter syndrome in other industries, but in the tech industry is something that we all talk about commonly, especially when you're first starting out as a software engineer. A lot of times there's that feeling of not thinking you know enough or not feeling like you know enough, like everything you were just saying about developing. And I've even found that too, like as a product manager, people experience the same thing. It's like in different roles in tech, and not just tech, in other industries, people experience the feeling of imposter syndrome. Like, I'm here, but I'm not good enough. Like, you hired me, but I still don't feel good enough. And a lot of times that could be, you could be a perfectionist. You could just have very high expectations of yourself and high standards. But like AG said, having a positive mental attitude, shout out Tank, our boy Tank out there. But having a positive mental attitude about how you approach every day at work or the challenge at hand, that is a big piece of you being able to get through it. There's going to be plenty of days like that, whether at work or, like you said, as a entrepreneur brand owner, there's going to be a lot of days where you kind of question that. That was going to be my first point. Personal development is important because you need to constantly challenge your own beliefs and ideas. We don't have the answers to everything or a lot of things. And so if you don't have the answers, if you have people around you who might have that information or those answers, then that's great. But if you don't have it, someone around you probably doesn't have it either. So you want to be comfortable seeking out new information. new people who have that information that if you don't already have access to it. Like, you have to get comfortable knowing that you don't know things and you have a lot to learn if you're gonna, make the business or the idea succeed, the brand succeed. Whatever you think on day one, how it's gonna go, I promise you it will not go that way. So having the mental kind of strength and fortitude to go through that and stay disciplined and still show up every day with the right energy and work ethic is super important. So challenging those beliefs that you have in yourself, and then, like AG said, having that positive mental attitude, I think is a huge one.
Yes, developing that positive mental attitude will also lead you into building healthy habits. Now, healthy habits, it isn't just what you eat. You definitely need to eat well, but it's what you consume, it's what you read, it's what you watch, it's what you listen to, it's what you repeat. So if you are taking in negative forms of content, subconsciously it's getting tucked away. Consciously or unconsciously, you're going to be repeating this. So if you're listening to some hardcore music, not even just hardcore rap, just anything, like it could be head bashing music, it could be like screamo music, like all of that can really be, it can bring you like negative vibes. Absolutely. You feel me? And just literally. So you have to have that that healthy consumption rate, and you want to be reading. In my opinion, you should be reading at least 30 minutes to an hour a day. And reading a post is not what I mean. I mean actually reading a book that has something to do with what you got going on. Now, if you're reading for fun, or if you're a person that reads novels and mysteries, or erotic books and stuff like that for your own enjoyment, that's separate from what I'm saying. I'm talking about when it comes to personal developing, you need to be advocating 30 minutes to an hour a day reading material that has to do with that. You can get you a book from Dale Carnegie, How to Influence Friends, How to Influence and Keep Friends, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. List goes on. A lot of these books aren't nothing new, but they are good to at least build a foundation on what personal developing truly does. Everyone can hear it and put two and two together. Oh, okay, I'm just developing myself. It's not, okay, you can go to the gym and develop yourself. But what are you doing for your mental? What are you doing for your spirit? What are you doing for the people that you're doing it for? Personal development is like you as a whole. So you want to make sure everything that you're taking in and everything that you're putting out is going in a positive direction. Even the things that you repost or the things that you repeat from people, you could be pushing a negative narrative and not even knowing it. Like if you're repeating some negative lyrics, you thinking because the song was cool, but those lyrics are still the opposite of what you're trying to do. Yeah. So you want to just kind of, or you're, tapping into some stuff, going down the rabbit hole on YouTube, and now you're watching some crazy stuff that you're not supposed to be watching, or that you don't want to be watching. You want to just be, you want to be focused in that way. So. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's my next one. I think goes great with that. You want to continue to personally develop yourself because times are going to get tough as an entrepreneur and a brand or business owner. You're going to go through a lot of, we call it emotional roller coasters, but there's going to be a lot of ebbs and flows, ups and downs on the journey. So part of what AJ is saying, filling your mind with that information is going to help you look at the benefits of adversity, rejection. It's going to help you be a little bit more stoic about it. You won't be so emotional about or disappointed when things don't work out a certain way. Only if you have the right mindset about it. And you'll only have the right mindset about it from building the right habits and filling your mind with the right information to approach it that way. But without that, I really do feel like it's so much harder to keep a healthy mental, spiritual balance with entrepreneurship when it requires so much of your time. Like one of our other episodes, you were saying that as an entrepreneur, business owner, you don't get to not show up or show up late or take a day off. And that can be stressful. I think you and I are the type of people that we kind of like to work. Like doing this right now, we enjoy doing this. We enjoy sharing information, linking up, creating content for y'all to help others. But if that isn't something you enjoy, like the actual work ethic of whatever you're doing. I mean, for us, it's recording and doing our podcast, but in something else, it could be showing up physically to a store that you own, a restaurant, cooking every day, doing hair, whatever it is. But if that like work ethic or love for the thing isn't there, you are going to have very, very, very tough days, circumstances, situations that are going to happen. So if you don't have that positive mental attitude, that mental fortitude to know how to weather that storm, you're in for a very, very, very frustrating experience. And the thing about it is, it doesn't end until you say it's over, right? Like, you're never done being an entrepreneur until you decide to go out of business, until you close the doors. And so that's going to be a tough moment if you're not able to mentally weather that storm to decide whether or not you want to give up on your dream and go out of business, or, figure out another way to deal with the stress that you have going on. So it's very important, I think, like AG saying, to build the right habits to help you prepare for that.
Most definitely. A lot of people talk about this thing called a vision board. And I'm a believer in the vision board, but I've seen a lot of vision boards that got cars on there, or it got, the baddest chick on there, all the enhancements, it's got bags of money. And that's what takes me back to these vain things that we feel are pillars of success in society. You actually want to remove that from your vision board, in my opinion. On your way to personal developing, I mean, we've sat in rooms, you would think it was a trap house. It was no furniture, or maybe one piece of furniture, and luckily we had the Wi-Fi from next door, and it's a group of us. We're in here sharing knowledge. Like, it's been like that. You gotta be able to literally have nothing and believe you can have everything. But everything doesn't necessarily mean material things. You wanna have a strong mind. You want to be able to, you should be the same person when your bank account is high and when it's low. Because if money affects your mood, you're not going to truly grasp what you need to grasp when it comes to personal development, because it's skills that you're learning. Researching is a skill. Anybody can drop something in the Google bar, and the first thing that shows up on that page, they might scroll to like the sixth thing and think that they found everything they found. That's not true research. Yeah, cool. People don't know about, I'm not saying people don't know, but the average Google searcher is not making a works cited page. Yeah. They're not referencing the actual sources. They're not triple checking these what they believe are facts. Personal development, I feel like, leads you in a direction where you're going to find yourself in a situation where you want that clarity, you want that certainty, you want to be able to know that what you're researching and looking at and regurgitating is actually real information. Or even reading some of these personal developing books, you want to look up who wrote the books. I did reference some solid people, but you want to do the research for yourself. No matter what I'm referring to, the key word right now is research, and how that skill is not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not pushed as much as I would like to see it. Especially, I'm the oldest of all my siblings, and I'm the oldest of 4, and I've seen all of them go through what they went through academically, myself included, and especially their era. My youngest brother is 21, 22, and watching him be the last one to go through high school, he's a very smart kid, but at the end of the day, all he had to do was hit up a couple websites to go find what he needed to find. Or my middle brother, I watched him basically take his whole, sorry, I don't want to get you in trouble, gang, but I watched my man's run his whole thesis paper through a Google site, you know what I'm saying? And he had it checked. It was Grammarly or something like that, where they just checked all his words
and made sure it wasn't plagiarized.
Right, you feel me? But it was still plagiarism though, because you still copied and pasted that joint, but you just hey, my hat goes off to him. Like, hey, you feel me? But that boy passed. But I'm just saying, it's a lot easier to slide, so people aren't held accountable. So basically, when it comes to personal development, there's not a cheat code. You can't just throw it in there. You can't just get it checked by an app. You can't just. Yeah. It's truly holding yourself accountable to your growth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about business, but it's gonna help you with business. Like, your personal development is you getting to the best version of yourself.
Yeah, man, I love that. And then my last one was just as you get into this grind of personally developing, hopefully you'll be able to find this ability to learn from other people's mistakes. What I mean by that is there's a lot that you just won't know, like we say all the time, and or you just won't be privy to it. I don't care if you have an MBA, if you've PhD, whatever. If it's not your first business, there's always things that you don't know or you're not aware of, or somebody more experienced than you is going to be more privy to it than you are. So if you are the type of person who's willing to seek out that knowledge and wisdom from somebody more experienced than you, even if it isn't in the physical sense, like you don't have actual access to them, there's biographies, there's autobiographies, there's so many different ways to learn about what people went through or what people did, what their journey was like, their story was like. I remember reading Shoe Dog by Phil Knight and just learning about how Nike was started, and forgot what the Walmart, Sam Walton's book, I forgot what it's called, but the Walmart family, Sam Walton has his book, Made in America, I think is what it's called. And it's the story about how he started Walmart. And you can literally hear about or read about, the very first store they opened in Arkansas and how he was driving in his pickup truck and grabbing all these like raggedy little discount items and bringing them every week and selling them out and reflipping it. So like how he started out and how he grew. But again, it puts things in a different perspective. You won't see people as these billionaires, these extreme, like these oligarchs and like all this. You won't see them that way when you start to look at them from this perspective, from personal development. They started out trash or not very good or very ill-informed, but passionate. But most people didn't know anything when they started out. And you will learn to respect the dedication to the learning, the research, the craft. Like AG was saying, there was a chapter in Made in America where Sam Walton was in Brazil, and he was in a grocery store in Brazil on his hands and knees. He got arrested for measuring the length of the aisles in Brazilian grocery stores because he wanted to see the difference in when he was laying out Walmart aisles and everything. He was that obsessed with his competition. But in my opinion, to AG's point, that's researching. That is just being obsessed with improving himself, his business model, whatever it was. It's like these things are cyclical. They don't ever stop. And so it's the sooner the better you're able to build those habits and get into that flow of things, the better it's going to benefit your business, the better it's going to benefit your brand. So learning from other people's mistakes and just like building the habits to where you're prepared to learn from other people's mistakes as well. Seeking out the information and experience, I think is a big one. So let us know what y'all think about personal development. Do you have some good books that y'all have read? Let us know down in the comment section down below. Have you had your own toils, issues, challenges with personal development? Let us know because we have as well too. So let's keep the conversation going. But that's all for this episode. It's Darian AG Links and Lines podcast. We'll catch y'all next episode. Peace.